I'm Jan with Jan Patek Quilts, and I do needle turn applique. And what I want to focus on today is this is my new tree toppers pattern made out of fabric from the Hawthorne Ridge fabric line. Of course, you could make it out of anything, but it's really nice to make it out of Hawthorne Ridge. Meantime, we have to figure out how to applique this angel, and the angels are kind of challenging. So I've decided we're going to do a little tutorial on it. There's kind of a lot of basting as you put the angel together first, because I tend to put all my figures together first so that when they go into the quilting hoop or quilting, well, I don't think this would go into a big frame, but so when they're quilted and you stretch the fabric, you don't have to worry about placement or getting little pieces of the background showing when you didn't have them right butt up against each other. So I sew them together first, and we have the body of the angel and her neck, her arms, feet, and then the wings, and then we'll do the head. Like I said, I do a lot of basting, if I can find the basting stitch, and I will just kind of lightly go over that. You don't have to baste the whole thing. You just need to baste what is going to go under her arm. So, because if you just had it flat out, it wouldn't work. No, it wouldn't. So we're just going to do this running stitch or basting stitch. It's just a big loose stitch, and we're going to finger press the hand in along the lines you've drawn. And I'm not going to back you totally up to freezer paper applique. If you don't know how to do that and do the stitching lines, you can back up to a tutorial on it. There. Okay, so now we've got the arm or the hand basted under, and we do that off, cut that off, and now we'll just finger press this under the arm because I've basted it all. It's going over the wing. So since it's going over the wing, we want to know exactly where the edges are. And you can see here, I basted under the wing up to, and then down at this end to where something is going over it. So we just finger press this under and take the hand and look at the picture and make sure it's pointing in the right direction, but that's really pretty easy. And then just sew it on using our basic applique stitch. Now I've already done the same thing with the other hand and with the neck. So I've basted all this under. Now the wing, the right wing, you almost have to baste under the whole thing. I'm just going to go ahead and take one more stitch on this, and then I'll end it. And we'll have lots of little strings, but that's okay. We can cut them off. Okay. So now we have an angel. I did the same thing with the feet. I basted under the bottom of the dress, basted the feet just on the edges, and then sewed them onto the bottom of the dress, referring to the pattern for placement. Okay, now this wing, in order to accommodate the neck, the arm, and then the dress, you almost have to baste all of this under. This side you didn't, you just need to baste this, the top and the bottom, because that's the only place the dress goes under it, over it. This you just, after you've done this, we'll take this off. you just place it behind it, double check it, make sure it's in the right place, look at the photo, pin it in place, and then you'll sew the arm to the wing. Then when you sew the angel on, you sew it all on as one big piece. If you're doing hand quilting, I would cut the back out. If you're not, if it's going to a machine quilter, which the ones this size of mine do, then I leave the back in. There's no reason to take it out. So now what we've got to address and focus on is, I'm sticking to myself, the head. And the head's kind of a definite challenge. What we want to end up with is something like this, okay? But we have to start out with, let's get the wing out of the way. We're through with the wing for now. I could use a few wings though. Okay. Trace the pattern of the head onto freezer paper and iron it. You can iron it to the front or the back, it doesn't matter. Because and then cut it out about 3/8 inch instead of a 1/4 inch, because you're going to fold this over, and folding it over the paper takes up a little room. So I'd make it about 3/8 of an inch, and then as you do your basting stitch or running stitch around the edge of this, it's going to come loose, and it doesn't matter if it comes loose, just let it fall out. And that's going to be a knot if I let that go ahead and do it. No, we don't want a knot. Okay, so we're going to base this to here. And then you're going to put your face back in, hold it, and pull it up and around. And that takes care of the head. And I'd pull it as tight as you can without buckling the paper. And then end your stitch, particularly if you're using brown, which I did. But I did it so you could see. I did all my basting stitches, in other words. Okay, so now we have the face, the head, but now we need to get the hair on. And that is a lot more challenging than doing the head. I've worked on trying to do this because I use angels quite a bit, and I've been trying to figure out a way to get the hair on, and I think I finally figured it out. Okay, iron your freezer paper pattern on. I didn't have an iron handy when I was doing this, so I just pin it on. The good thing about using your sandpaper board is it will hold the fabric in place. You really don't need to have your pattern ironed on if you're using the freezer paper. And even if you're using the sandpaper board, and really even if you have it on, it's a good idea to use the sandpaper board because it keeps your fabric from stretching and getting out of shape. All right, now we're gonna cut up here. I'm gonna turn my scissors around because if we can, quite a bit bigger than a 1/4 inch around the top. Not around the bottom, but around the top. And then square off this corner at a 1/4 inch, and then do this part at a 1/4 inch. Okay, and cut into the point, her bangs. Okay. And then go down here. This is a 1/4 inch again. And then cut across here a 1/4 inch. Okay, Now, if you've ever watched one of my tutorials, and I'm going to switch color of thread because I want you to be able to see. Hopefully I have some. Yeah, I got yellow. All right, I want you to be able to see the thread. Now, I don't know if any of you have seen me do leaf points when we're doing leaves and vines or stems and leaves, but what we do so we can know where the point of the leaf, the inside point, is going to touch the stem or the vine is we fold it under. And we're going to do the same thing with this. We're just going to fold that straight across where the point is, and then we're going to fold this under this way and this way so that we have a point. And then we're going to do a little stitch to hold that point in place. And we're going to take this out later. So obviously we're not going to leave a big yellow thing there. Okay, now we're going to go to the other side and we're going to do the same thing. Fold it under, fold it straight across, then fold it under on one side and take a stitch, and fold it under on the other side and take a stitch. And then usually I take one more stitch just to make sure they all hold. Okay. Okay. Okay, now we put it on her head and we match the points with the edge of her face where it goes, and it looks like it goes right there. That will do it. And then you stitch. Here's one I've done that on. And then you stitch from this corner up to the little point in the hair, and then stitch down to the other side of the hair. Okay, so now you've got the hair on the face. Okay, now what you have to do is get rounded, and the reason you're doing all this is because of this rounding thing. You've cut this bigger than it needed to be. I don't know whether this piece is long enough. This one is, okay. I do try to make them bigger than, or of different color thread. Now from the back, what you're going to do is the same thing you did with the face, only it's only half of one. And get as far out as you can without getting close enough that when you pull, it's going to pull out a piece of fabric. You can see where this is going, I'm sure. And make your stitches here on this one kind of close together. Because this is a little more delicate than the face or berries. Okay, now we've gone all the way around there, and we're just going to pull, just like we did with the face. And then bind it in. And you may have to go over to this side and make sure that's stitched down to the face. You probably will. But it's very difficult. These large curves, but see? Look at that. Isn't that neat? Nice smooth line. Now you'll sew that to the head, and there's your angel. Then you'll take your angel and sew her to the background. In fact, I think I'll make her into a pillow because I hate to waste all that work that I've done, and I've already got a tree toppers quilt, so I don't need another one. But I suppose I could give it away for Christmas. But anyway, there you go. We hope you've enjoyed this tutorial from Jan Patek Quilts. If you have, please subscribe to our channel. Thanks, and have a good day.